Okay. This is how I'm gonna play it, huh? And then I guess you're gonna have to do it like this and yeah, I apologize for having to do this a bit prematurely. But the game does not want me to get the full view of this, the full view of the deck, it seems like. Or at least the full view of the field, and I'm trying to get it all in there. And I apologize for the camera angle. I was trying to go for something, and it didn't, and it's not really quite working for me. But, I am trying here. If I have to, I'll just, do this, and just have to do that then, because I literally got no other way of doing it. It's gonna suck, but just bear with me here. Okay. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Forrest Holman here. Welcome to a little bit of a lesson. Now, first and foremost, I do want to say, as far as this thing goes here, this camera stand, just ignore it. Okay, just ignore it. I know it's going to be in the shot for the whole stream. I know, and I'm going to get something here to replace this kind of camera setup so we can actually do it properly. Because I'm going to be doing this again in the future. Because I did want to do this, but I'll do it again in the future with a better angle. But for now, this is what we got. So this is going to be old pretty fast when I get down to it. Now, but in any case, if you're watching this stream, you have chosen to learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, as you can tell, we got two decks on the play mat here, and we're going to be using the 2-player starter set that was provided by way of Konami. Thank you. With this product. So we're going to be using this deck as a bit of a way to explain everything. But I will go into detail about other variations of monsters, because I do have a crap ton of structure decks literally on my table over here on the other side of me. But yeah, so you want to learn how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I want to teach you the ins and outs of Yu-Gi-Oh! To the best of my ability. I am by no means a complete expert, but I do know a number of things about Yu-Gi-Oh! The only thing I don't really know about very well are pendulum monsters, because goddamn they are a pain in the ass trying to figure out. But in any case, let's go ahead and get started. Before we get into everything though, if you have your book, if you got the product and you had the booklet with you, you would already know there is one problem with this book. If you had this book, you would see the big problem is, first off, no playmat. You literally gotta work with a playmat that you don't even have, so you gotta figure something out. How are you gonna know how to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Without at least a 2-player playmat? Even if it's paper, at least it's something, right? That's just how it is. But, for some reason, they had no playmat. Also, as I have watched a video of this product with another YouTuber. Problem is, they don't have color in them to signify who is who. And even better, this book is only one book. You literally gotta use the same book to know what you gotta do. Kinda convoluted, right? This is why I believe Pokemon did it right. This box is the Pokemon TCG Battle Academy right here. Every problem that people have with the booklet or the product itself, this thing solves right here. This thing has a playmat, albeit a picture playmat, but at least it's still a playmat. This thing has, like this one, 2 decks to practice with, plus an extra one in case you want to use a different deck, whether it's you want to replace the Pikachu with the Eevee or the Cinderace with the Eevee, fine. There you go. It even has 2 separate booklets for the Cinderace and the Pikachu. So that way you two could possibly follow along. Now, on one hand, it's a good thing because then if you're following along, you know what you gotta do. On the other hand, if you lose track of what page you're on, you're gonna mess up on the practice game. Which is something I will give this thing a little bit of credit for. It's not the best, but at least it has it to where if you mess up on a certain bit, at least you're not too far away from it, you could possibly find the page that you were stuck on. And I'd say possibly because if you go too far forward, you're likely not going to find a way back. But we're going to refer to this book in a moment. For now, we got to cover the basics. What does each field position do? Okay, so we are going to use this side for reference. So actually, we're going to point at both sides. So, these right here are your field spell zones. They are only for field spell cards. I will say a few examples. You got Traptrix Garden. You got, what else do we have? You got Traptrix Garden. You got Valley of the Spellcasters, or Super Valley of the Spellcasters, one of the two. The only problem is, with these field spell cards, there's no field spell cards in these decks whatsoever. But, like I said, I do have some spell cards I do have some cards that I could use to explain them. So, field spells. Talking cards like, and I got it wrong by the way, but yeah, we got cards like this card. This is Traptrix Garden, or Traptrix Garden, I should say. This is a field spell card, right here. Just, yeah, I know the lighting's not the best, but A, it's better than nothing. That is what a spell card is. Or if you want to just look it up, you can just look up list of spell cards or whatever on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikipedia, on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikipedia, as I, like, Yu-Gi-Oh! Wiki, but yeah, it's there like that. So yeah, those are reserved, so yeah, this and these are your field spell zones. On the right of these, you will have these 5 monster card zones. These monster card zones are for your normal monsters, your pendulum monsters, and if you wanted to, you could put your Ritual, Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, and, well, not really Link monsters, but they can be put in here, well, and Link monsters here. But, if you want to save your spaces on these 5, you got these right here. These are your extra monster zones. If like I said, if you have a Fusion monster, a Synchro monster, a Xyz monster, Pendulum, or not Pendulum, and a Link monster, all those monsters go into the extra monster zone, but they only resort to 1 player each. So, yeah, if 1 player is using it, this one goes for the second player. At least that's how I'm seeing it. And if I have it wrong, somebody can correct me on it. I know somebody will if I didn't get it wrong. But yeah, so these are your extra monster zones for your monsters in your extra deck. In this case, you can put your Xyz monsters in this one, or your Synchros in this one, or vice versa. That's just how it is. Right here, you have your graveyard, which is where all the cards that that are like on your monster cards that are destroyed, or your spell and trap cards that you've used up or are destroyed, they all go right here. Or, if a certain effect tells you so, this is your banished zone, and this is the same way. This one says side deck, but most people that I know have used it as a banished zone too. But yeah, so you got 2 banished zones, 1 for each player. And then you have the bottom rows. So bottom rows right here, making sure you guys can see it. Yeah, right here where my finger is at, that is the extra deck. That is where your like I said earlier, your fusion, your Xyz, your fusion, your Xyz, I don't like getting them mixed up, so I like to go in order of how they were introduced. Your fusion, your synchro, your Xyz, and your link monsters all go in here. And right here in these areas, you have your spell and trap zones. This is only, obviously, for your green spell cards and your purple / pin / whatever you want to call it, whatever color you want to call it. These are for your spell and trap cards. But these 2 right here, these are blue and red respectively, because these are the pendulum zones. These involve pendulum monsters. And like I said, it is a pain in the bum trying to explain them. It's crazy. I'll probably do a separate video explaining how the hell they're supposed to work. But that's all you need to know, because there are no pendulum monsters in these decks. None whatsoever. And here is where your deck goes. So, if we're going to start this here, we are going to start things off here a little bit here. So, these synchro monsters go right here in the extra deck, and the rest of the deck goes right here. And same deal for the Xyz monsters. For the Xyz monsters, they go right here on the extra deck, and the rest of the cards go right here into the actual deck. So this is how the start of the game should set up. If you don't have any extra monsters, if you don't have any of the monsters that I said earlier, and go into the monster card zone, don't worry, not every deck is going to have them. Case in point, some of the structure decks that I have do not carry extra monsters, like monsters that go in the extra monster zone. Right now, the most important thing is to just know that you don't always have to have an extra monsters in your deck. Just as long as they work, that's all that matters. Alright, so we are going to start this duel off. I will be using the booklet that was provided with these 2 decks in this booklet. And I will state for the record, this is going to be funny, and I'm probably going to be saying exactly the same thing that people have been saying about this booklet, outside of the fact that in some ways, what they're doing here with how this booklet is presented is both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because you can always look in the same booklet and understand kind of what you're doing, but at the same time, it's also a curse because when you're not sure who's who with this booklet, it can be kind of hard to see it. But if you really want to know who's who, best thing to know is know that player S is using this deck. So this will be player S and this will be player X. But there is so much text borders in this thing that it could be easy to lose focus on where you're trying to be, on what you're trying to do. It's hard, but we'll get through it. In any event, I'm going to go ahead and start this off. So I am honestly not going to care about life points right now. This is just a bit of a test to explain how duels generally work. I think I am a little bit off balance. Let me fix that here. Yeah, I think I was a little off balance there. Let me fix that. Close enough. That's good enough. Alright, so I can already tell you how this is going to go first off. So, first and foremost, we're going to go into each phase as well. Okay, so there are multiple phases in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Okay, so for the first turn, player 1 has to draw 5. Player 1, each player draws 5 cards into their hand. So I'm going to show you guys what we got here. We got Queen's Knight, Giant Soldier of Stone, Majin, Mystical Genie of the Lamp, Rabbit Dragon, and Dark Magician as the first hand for player X, and Elemental Hero Sparkman, Inbachi, Spirit of the Harp, Launcher Spider, and Ryoran in player S's opening hand. These are important. So what we're going to do is, since I am not using this hand right now, we're going to go ahead and put these here. And we're going to put these in my hand. Okay, so let's take a look at our hand first and foremost. We have, I know it's going to suck trying to do this here, but whatever. So in our right here, the Jin, Mystical Genie, Rabbit Dragon, and Dark Magician. Now, the most important thing when you're playing defended, make sure you are well defended. So, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and set Queen's Knight currently on the field in face down defense position. That's how you always want it to do, because the most important thing is to get your opponent to question what kind of monster that is, and if you're going to be able to destroy it. So yeah, be mindful of that. Also, you can only do what is called a normal summon. This is a normal summon. Whenever we summon a monster in defense mode or face-up attack mode, that will be our normal summon. Now, I will say, there are some cards out there that will allow you to do an extra normal summon alongside that one normal summoner set that you did earlier in your turn. But not every card is going to be like that, and it's very, very specific. Now, if you also notice, we also could have done another play here. We could have put Giant Soldier of Stone in defense mode, face down defense. We could have put Legend, Mystical Genie of the Lamp in face up attack mode, because 1800 attack points is pretty good for a starting monster. But we could not do anything with Rabbit Dragon or Dark Magician, and we'll get to why in a little bit. But for now, since we have no spells or trap cards in the hand, we are going to end our turn. Now, you may be wondering, if you are an old school Yu-Gi-Oh player who is just coming back from Yu-Gi-Oh for the first time ever, you may be wondering, excuse me, Forrest. When I was growing up playing Yu-Gi-Oh, we did a draw phase, even when it's our first turn. Why did you not do that? Well, in the world of modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, they took that out to kind of counterbalance, to kind of balance it out for the second player. So, obviously, like in the OG Yu-Gi-Oh, you can't attack on the first turn, but in the modern day Yu-Gi-Oh, you can't attack on your first turn on this one either, but you also cannot draw on your first turn. I was playing an online Yu-Gi-Oh website, and I had no idea that was the case. I kind of got out of Yu-Gi-Oh for a while, and then when I came back and that rule was implemented, I had no idea. So I just was like, okay, fine, I'll just put my extra card that I just drew back into, come on, don't mess with me here, back into the deck. I'll even shuffle my deck, and there we go. Just so we're all good and blah blah blah, right? So yeah, that was my introduction to that rule. But in any case, so we ended our turn as Dark Magician. So now it is player 2's turn. So player S will draw a card, and he will get Ojama Green, one of the Ojama trios, a member of the Ojama trio. So So like I said, the rule before is to get your opponent's hard points to 0. But how can you do that when you got this face down defense position monster on the field? You gotta have something that can you gotta have something to attack it and possibly destroy it. So once again, we have our 6 monsters here. The only thing is, currently we have Elemental Hero Sparkman with 1600 attack. That could probably wipe it out, maybe. We got Inbachi, which is also a level 16 attack point monster. Then we got Spirit of the Heart, which is a 2000 defense monster, so we can honestly put that in face down defense if we wanted to. Again, with Launcher, Spider, and Ryuran, they are too high a level to actually normal summon without, for free. So we can't do those. And Ajama Green, yes, we could if we wanted to. But for now, we are going to go ahead and summon Elemental Hero Sparkman onto the field in face-up attack position. Alright, so now we enter what is called the battle phase. This is where your cards attack your opponent's monster. So we're going to have Elemental Hero Sparkman attack the face-down defense position monster, which was revealed to be, well, Queen's Knight, like we said we was going to do. But if you notice something, now you think, okay, so how does this work? So how would the attack play out? Well, the attack points of Elemental Hero Sparkman is 1600 attack points. The defense points, I'm going to actually level them up here. The defense points of Queen's Knight is also 1600. Hey Nicole, how you doing tonight? So, how would this duel play out? Well, it's very simple. In this duel, since both monsters have the same attack and defense points, no monster is destroyed, and neither player takes battle damage. In this case, in this scenario. So, they put Elemental Hero Sparkman back in attack mode, and Queen's Knight goes back and stays on the field in defense mode. Her position cannot be changed on your opponent's turn, in case anybody's wondering how the hell that works, okay? So that is the end of the battle phase, because we did our one attack, and we can't normal summon any more monsters, because like I said before, you can only normal summon monsters once per turn, and since we've got no spell or trap cards in our hand, we have to end our turn. That is player S's death, by the way. So now, it is player X's turn again, and he draws Ajama Yellow. So yeah, so this is our hand now, alright? So, if you noticed, our defense strategy actually worked. While our monster's attack and defense were the same, and so no monster was destroyed, we were able to keep Queen's Knight on the field. So let's go one step higher. We are going to take Giant Soldier Stone and place it in face down defense position. We're going to trick our opponent pretty much here. Alright, so again, since we had no monsters we had monsters in our hand. Since we had no spell or traps in our hand, we have to end the turn since we did our normal summon and we're not attacking with either monster this turn. So we're going to end our turn right away, right now. So now, it is player S's turn. And they draw Gilgarth. Now, Gilgarth, if you notice, has 1800 attack points. So it is going to be stronger than Queen's Knight. So what we're going to do is we're going to summon Gilgarth in attack position. And we are going to have Gilgarth attack Queen's Knight. So, wait, hold on a second. I bet I messed up, didn't I? I'm using the book to try to explain this here. Uh-huh. Okay. Okay, it's all good actually. Never mind. I just wanted to make sure I'm following along with the book here. Alright, so yeah, I'll be looking to the book to help me out if I need to. Alright, so you got your monsters and you got your two monsters in attack position, and they're about to attack these two monsters in defense position. So, yeah, actually put this down right here so that way you guys can see that it's there. So we're gonna have Drilgarth attack Queen's Knight and destroy it, because in this situation, and this is gonna be important as well, Drilgarth has 1800 attack, while Queen's Knight has 1600 defense. In this situation, Queen's Knight will be destroyed, but the player will not take any battle damage since Queen's Knight was in defense position, while Drilgarth was in attack position. So yeah, because the whole point of a defense position monster is to defend your life points, which it actually is. If it was in attack mode, if Queen's Knight and Drilgarth were both in attack position, then Queen's Knight would be destroyed, and the difference between life points and the attack points would be dealt damage to the Queen's Knight player's attack life points. So it would have gone down to 300, or gone down by 300. But since it was in defense mode, neither so player S does not. So player X, I'm sorry. Player X would not lose any life points, but Queen's Knight would be destroyed. So now, still in our battle phase, we're feeling a little bit confident, right? We have a pretty good sized monster that has just destroyed another decent monster here in its own right. So we're feeling confident that Sparkman will do the same thing to this face down card. So Sparkman will attack the face down card, and it is Giant Soldier of Stone, like we said it was going to be. But here's where another element of the game comes in. Take a look at Sparkman's attack and Giant Soldier of Stone's defense. Pretty different, right? To the point to where the defense of the Giant Soldier is 400 points higher than Sparkman's. In this situation, again, neither monster is destroyed, but player S would take battle damage because the attack points was less than the defending monster's defense points. So in this case, player S would get 400 points of damage to their life points, putting them down to 7,600. But, like I said, Giant Soldier of Stone is not destroyed because because the defense points was higher than Sparkman's attack points. So we have to go to main phase 2, which is where you can set your spells and traps, or do any other kind of strategy that you did not do on main phase 1, which is where you're kind of setting everything up, but in main phase 2 you are finishing it up, so to speak. That's pretty much the gist of it. But since we have no spell or traps in our hand to put down on the field, player S will end their turn. Now it is player X's turn, and we draw Sword Stalker. So this is gonna be fun. So yeah, I'm gonna refer to this every so often if I need to. So as you can see, we got Giant Soldier of Stone in our field, defending our life points, but we got these two monsters here on their side of the field in attack mode as well. So we currently have a monster in our hand that could destroy Sparkman, and that monster is the Jin, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp, with its 1800 attack. So we're going to put this monster in attack mode. Now, it should be noted here that while you could technically summon Sword Stalker, you can summon Sword Stalker, but that would require one tribute. And you would have to tributed Giant Soldier of Stone because monsters that are level 5 or level 6 require one tribute to normal summon it, while level 7 or 8 monsters, in this case these two are level 7 and level 8, these two monsters, level 7 Dark Magician, level 8 Rabid Dragon, both of these cards would require 2 tributes to summon. But for now, we're not going to deal with tribute summoning quite yet. We're just going to move on with the battle phase. If my phone will work with me here, that'd be lovely. Let's go ahead and put it right. Okay, yeah, that'll be fine. All right, so we're going to enter our battle phase. And we're going to have Lejin attack Sparkman, and because there's no speller traps on the field, the attack is successful, and Sparkman is destroyed, and another 200 life points, like I described earlier here, since Lejin attacked Sparkman. Lejin has 1800 life points and attack points, and Sparkman has 1600 attack. Sparkman is destroyed, and Sparkman's controller takes 200 points of damage, since obviously it was on his side of the field when it was destroyed, so he takes damage. And Sparkman is destroyed by battle. Now, the book does go into detail on how everything plays out in both attack versus attack and attack versus defense, but I pretty much explained how it all goes. So now, we have no monsters and we have nothing to set in the spell of traps, so we end our turn. Now, it is player S's turn, and they draw Ally of Justice Klausalos. This is a pretty good card, and pretty good normal card, but for this duel, as far as this part of the duel goes, it's okay. This card has 2300 attack and 1200 defense. And we have a monster that in our hand that can destroy Giant Soldier of Stone, who has been a bit of a bane of our existence. So, we are going to triple summon Gilgarth to normal summon Ally of Justice Klausalos in attack mode. This is where the fun begins, okay? So, we enter the battle phase, and I'm going to put this cards down, because after this, nothing is going to matter for this turn. So we're going to have Ally of Klausalos attack Giant Soldier of Stone. So I'm going to have this card. Like I said, Ally of Klausalos attack Giant Soldier of Stone. Nothing's going to stop him from negating the attack, from the attack being negated, or stopped or whatever. So, Giant Soldier of Stone is destroyed. Excuse me. And, like before, since this card had 2300 attack and this card had 2000 defense, this card is destroyed by battle, but no life points are lost because it was in defense mode. And that ends this turn, because again, no spell or trap to help it. Next up, it is player X's turn, and he draws the Spell Card Trade-In. These are pretty good cards. Spell cards are meant to be pretty good. Some are good, some are bad, some are just downright awesome, and others are downright, in other words, crap. But this is a card that we could use to our advantage. So, this card has the effect, discard 1 level 8 monster, draw 2 cards. Well, the thing is, while we do have a monster, legit, on our field, and we could tribute summon into Swordstalker if we wanted to. The problem is Swordstalker does not have the attack points that we need to destroy the monster. It's 300 attack points lower than that. So we also have Rabbit Dragon, a level 8 monster. And Trade-In is a spell card that requires us to discard a level 8 monster to draw 2 more cards. So we can activate it because it is a spell card. Now, there are a multitude of different spell cards that are in this game. And I know I should get them to explain it, but to point it out, they do. Now, I will say in the book they do kind of explain it, but the only problem is they don't really give you any sort of example. Sorry, freaking thing knocked itself out of whack. Now, they do kind of go into an example here. The only problem is they don't really show any examples. So if you guys want to see this, you can go ahead and pause it there. So that's the problem with another problem with the book. They don't really give you examples for the most part. But that's only one of the few problems that we got with this book. But we are moving on. Anyway, so we are going to go ahead and discard our Rabbit Dragon, put it into the graveyard, and then draw 2 cards. And our 2 cards are the trap cards, No Entry and Draining Shield. Now for trap cards, you have to, unless otherwise stated, on certain card effects, aka trap, beware of trap tricks, pretty much. You have to set these cards face down the field before you can actually activate them. Now, like I said, if you had cards like the Trap Tricks monsters, which I know has a structure deck based on Beware of Trap Tricks, that's the name of that deck, which I think is one of the best decks ever made with a structure deck. But yeah, for these 2 cards, we do have to set them on the field, so that's what we're gonna do. We also need to take this card out because we've already used it up and did its effect. So we take. Well, first off, I'm gonna put them face down for us. You just said that. Why would you play No Entry as a trap card when it's not a spell card? It's a trap card. So put them both face down. And that will end our turn. Because, again, we have Legion in attack mode, but yet he can't destroy Ally of Costalus. And we literally got no monsters in our hands outside of Dark Magician that can destroy it, but we can't use Dark Magician quite yet because, again, it requires 2 monster tributes to summon it because it is a level 7 monster. So, we end our turn. I'm actually going to go ahead and put this here on its side like that so that you guys know it's there and it's not being in play. So, there's that. And now it is player S's turn, and they draw one of the best cards in the game, Swords of Revealing Light. This is a really, really, really good card. It basically stops your opponent from attacking you for 3 whole turns. This is a beast of a card from way back in the day. So good. I am honestly surprised Konami never thought of banning it, but it's so good that it's not even funny. That's probably why they didn't ban it, because it kind of helps the player out a lot. A whole lot. So now, I actually missed a step, actually. Hold on. I'm gonna go back a bit, because I actually forgot a step here. I actually did here. What the game also wants you to do, by the way, I'm going back the last turn. What the book wants you to do is actually to put Rajami Yellow into face down defense mode. So that's exactly what we're doing. That's what the book said. I can show you proof that it did say that. There you go. So it was on that last turn. And so, there you go. So yeah, that was actually main phase 2. That would actually be main phase 2 where you set a monster in defense mode and then you turn, because we didn't do the normal summon. Now we're going over to the opponent's turn. And now we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this again, knowing full well that I messed up. And I know people are gonna be like, Forrest, how could you mess that up? You have the booklet in your hand. I know! Don't at me. But I only got that one part wrong. I literally only got that one wrong. In any event, next up it is player S's turn. Alright, so what we're gonna do, because it is our turn, we are going to go ahead, since this is our hand. Remember what we got here? We got Inpachi, Spirit of the Heart, Launcher Spider, Ryuran, Ojama Green, and Swords of Revealing Light. We're gonna go ahead and summon Inpachi into attack mode. And then we are going to enter the battle phase. So we're going to enter the battle phase, and we're going to have Allied Colossus attack Legend the Mystical Genie of the Lamp. I'm pretty sure my body is kind of getting in the way of the trap, but whatever. I'll try not to let it get in the way too much, right? I'm just saying. But I'm going to be redoing this anyway when I get another camera set up, like a thing where, you know, it goes overhead instead of where this is showing up like it is now. But in any case, since we have Allied Colossus attacking Legend the Mystical Genie of the Lamp, we can activate our trap card, No Entry. This trap card effect says, change all attack position monsters to defense position. Since we have 3 monsters in defense position, all 3 monsters, Majin, Inpachi, and Ally of Colossus, they will be changed into defense position by way of that trap card effect, and since that effect has been done, it goes into the graveyard. Alright, now, now, we did interrupt the flow of battle for Colossus because it is now in defense mode, so it can no longer attack, and nor can Inpachi because it too is in defense, so that pretty much ended the battle phase for player S. And so, yeah. Now, we could do something here. Now that we got this magic card, known as Swords of Revealing Light, now that we got that in our hand, we could play it, but right now, it's still a bit close in the game, and because it's 7,400 to 8,000, so we don't really need to worry about this card right now. It's still pretty close, so we won't worry about it right now. So we're going to go ahead and end our turn for player X. It is player X's turn, and he draws White Ninja. Look at this card. It has a flip effect. Target 1 defense position monster on the field. Destroy that target. Very good card, if you ask me. Now, we drew White Knight. But this card is actually very special. This is a flip effect monster, which means if you put it face down in the defense position, and if an attack is declared on it, it can flip face up, and it will do its flip effect. That's really cool, right? Right, I agree. Because there are so many flip effect monsters that again are really good, and some of them depends on, I guess it kind of depends, or they're just really terrible, but it is what it is. But now, if you notice on our field, we have 2 monsters. And we have a monster that we can summon that is powerful enough to take out Ally of Clausulus. So now we're going to do another tribute summon. We have sacrificed Ojama Yellow and Legend, the mystical genie of the lamp, to summon Dark Magician in attack mode. Dark Magician in attack mode. And now, there we go. So, we're going to go ahead and enter our battle phase. We're going to have Dark Magician attack Ally of Clausulus, and since I know this is right here above this one, but this is not in play, by the way, just so we're all clear. For any newcomers joining in, this is not in play, because if it was, I would have made sure it was fully on that space, but it wasn't, so it's not currently being played. But anyway, Dark Magician attacks Ally of Clausulus, and since there's no spell or trap stopping him from doing anything, or countering it, it is destroyed. So now, we have to. We have to end our turn because, well, yes, we did tribute summon a monster, and we could always put White Ninja in face down defense position. The problem is, a tribute summon is also a normal summon, so be mindful of that when you do a tribute summon. Always think before you play. That's how it is with this game. That's literally the whole thing about this game. It's strategy. Just complete another strategy. But since we got nothing else we can do with our hand, we end our turn. It is player S's turn. Then they draw. Backup Rider. This is a spell card with the effect. Target would face a monster in the field and gains 1500 attack until the end of this turn. And would you look at that? But right now we got a bit of a problem. Dark Magician is the strongest monster on the field, and we got Enpachi right here. It doesn't have the full attack points to work with. But we can do what is called you can switch it to attack position, which you can do. You can switch a monster into attack position from attack to defense position or defense to attack position. But you can only do it once that turn with that. You can only switch a monster's position once per turn. I know I moved it around a few times, but I'm just showing you. Since it was in defense position before, we can switch it to attack position. Now, it should be duly noted, you cannot switch a monster's position the same turn you summoned it. You cannot do that. So, if you summoned Enpachi in attack mode, it would stay in attack mode unless it survived. It'll stay in attack mode, and you can't change that battle position until your next turn if it should still be on the field. But since we did that, we can now play the spell card. We can play the spell card Backup Rider, which we put target on Enpachi, which increases its life points to 31 life points. Attack points to 3,100. So now, we're going to put this here, but it's still at 3,100. So now we're going to have Enpachi attack Dark Magician, but wait! Another face down card! Draining Shield. This trap card has the effect. If you guys can read it, or if you guys cannot read it, I'm sorry, but at least I'll read it for you in case you don't see it very well, or can't see it at all. If an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacking monster, negate the attack, and if you do, it gain life points equal to that target's attack. So, since Enpachi has 3,100 attack points because of Backup Rider, then player X would gain 3,100 life points, which puts him at 11,100. Yeah, it's literally darts all over again, isn't it? So, So, what we can do now that our attack button got depleted, we can go ahead and set Spirit of the Harp face down in defense mode, and in our turn, because we are still we're not in the best of shape, but we're not in that bad of shape. We're still in pretty good shape as far as our own life points goes. So it is what it is. And it does try to go into detail about how the battle positions work, which I guess is kind of okay with how they describe it, but it could be a little bit better. But I think I pretty much explained it pretty well. But it does say it can't change its position if it declared an attack already this turn, which is why people generally do the battle position changes before the battle phase. You cannot change its position if it's still the turn it was summoned, which I did kind of go into detail on, and you can't change its position if you already manually changed its position, which again I also went into detail on. So yeah, it's kind of easy to explain that when you think about it. So now, so now it is player X's turn, and they are basically gonna have a Yugimoto moment because they drew 1,000 Knives. Heart of the cards, am I right? This card's effect, if you control Dark Magician, target one monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. So yeah, that is the effect of 1,000 Knives. Now, we're gonna hold on to this thing because it's literally a waste to put on these two monsters because they're both normal monsters and we don't have to worry about them at the moment, really. And I mean, look at this. Dark Magician is at 2,500 attack points. It could easily wipe out both monsters if we wanted to. Which we technically could if we wanted to. So now, excuse me. But now we're going to So now we are going to go ahead and attack. Excuse me. We're going to go ahead and have Dark Magician attack Inbachi and do 900 points of damage to the player. So that would be 6,500 attack points since it was at 7,400, and you lose 900 damage because Dark Magician had 2,500 attack and Inbachi had 16. So that is 900 damage done. Alright. So now we're going to go ahead in our main phase 2. We're going to take White Ninja and place it face down on the field in defense position, and that will end our turn. So at this point it does talk about special summons and how they work, as well as flip summon monsters if we wanted to go there. So now it is our turn. It is player S's turn. And player S draws Apprentice Piper, which has the flip effect, I should say. You can special summon one monster from your hand. If this card is destroyed by battle or a card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one monster from your hand. Well, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead. So we're going to go ahead, place Apprentice Magician face down in defense mode, and we are going to end our turn because we already did our normal summon, and again, these two monsters are not going to be able to be normal summon because we don't have the right amount of monsters to tribute, and a Drama Green cannot be summoned because we already did do a normal summon of face down defense position White Ninja. Not Apprentice Piper. You know which one I'm talking about. I'm talking about Yeah, Apprentice Piper, that's what it is. Okay. Anyway, and we're not going to play Swords of Revealing Light quite yet, because we're not too deep in the woods quite yet. So we're going to go ahead and end our turn. It is player X's turn, and we draw Cost Down. I think this used to be a banned card, actually. But anyway, Cost Down is a spell card with the effect. Discard one card for the rest of this turn. Reduce the levels of all monsters in your hand by 2 levels after they are summoned. Even after they are summoned, I should say. In any event, we are going to go ahead. We are going to save that card for later because you never know when we're going to probably need it. So I'm going to go ahead and save that. And so now we are going to have Dark Magician attack Apprentice Piper, this face down card, which was, as we said earlier, Apprentice Piper. And since Apprentice Piper has 2 effects, and we're going to run through this here for a quick second. You have the effect. You can special summon one monster from your hand. This card is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard. You can special summon one monster from your hand. So, here's the gist of it. So pretty much, it was. So it does have it has the flip effect that a monster is special summoned from your hand. So we will use Launcher Spider for that in face-up defense position. Because that's how it is. Special summon monsters are required to put them in face-up defense position, I believe. And Ryoran will be the same deal as well, so it'll go in defense position as well, leaving us with these 2 cards in our hand, Ojama Green and Swords of Revealing Light. So there you go. Since these 2 are on the field, we do this. So what's supposed to happen is we put this in from our hand, that is destroyed, then we put this in our field, and that's the whole gist of it. Okay? That's how it should have gone, and I kind of mistimed everything there. But it is what it is. So, yeah. With that said, we are going to use our main phase 2 to do something about these 2 recently special summon monsters, Launcher Spider, and Ryoran. So, how are we gonna fix this problem? Well, first things first, we're going to go ahead and flip summon White Ninja into attack mode. And remember its flip effect? Target one monster in defense position on the target one defense position monster on the field, destroy that target. We are going to go ahead and use that target on Ryoran. So that card is destroyed. And then we are going to go ahead and use 1,000 Knives. We're going to play the spell card 1,000 Knives. And we're going to have the effect again being that since Dark Magician is on the field, we target one monster the opponent controls, and we destroy that target. And we're going to destroy Launcher Spider, which we did. So now there's that, and our problems are pretty much solved right now. We have 2 monsters on our side of the field, and they only have 1 in face down defense position. So excuse me. So, there you go. It does, by this point, for some reason, it does delve into what the booklet does go into detail on what each phase is, which I kind of gone into detail a bit more. Kind of gone into detail, but not too much for one reason or another. And so, we are going to go ahead and end our turn, because we've got nothing else we can do right now. So we're going to go ahead, end our turn, and it is player S's turn. We got 2 cards in our hand, and we're going to go ahead and draw a card, and we get Storming Mirror Force. This is a trap card with the effect. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, return all opponent's attack position monsters to the hand. This is a really good card right now. Seriously, it really is. So, what we're going to do... is we're going to go ahead and set Storming Mirror Force down on the Spell Trap Zone. And we're going to end our turn. Because, for starters, we got nothing that can destroy these two cards. I mean, technically, yeah, we don't have anything. I know I just looked down and I had to make sure something here. But yeah, we got these two powerful cards. They're not going to be able to do anything for us. So what would be the point of summoning Ojama Green when it's got no attack points to destroy either monster? And we could use Swords of Revealing Light, but again, we could use it at a later point in time. I mean, heck, we could have done it now, but we're just following the rules of the game, okay? So we're going to go ahead and end the turn. And now it is player X's turn. And he draws Call of the Haunted. If you guys know what Monster Reborn is, Call of the Haunted is pretty much a Monster Reborn. The only difference is this card has a very interesting card effect, which we will get into in a second. In case anybody gets confused with it. But the trap card has the effect: activate this card by targeting one monster in your graveyard, special summon that target in attack position. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. When that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. Okay, so now we're kind of in a bit of a pickle. So right now we got a monster in defense mode and a card on the back, right here. So how are we going to go about this? Well, it should also be duly noted, actually, now that the booklet has pointed it out to me, this card has a very interesting symbol. It looks like the infinite symbol that some may be familiar with and others may not be. This infinite symbol, this infinity-looking symbol, is the symbol for a continuous trap card, which means, unless otherwise stated, it will always stay on the field unless an opponent can negate the activation of the trap card and destroy it, in which case, for the time being, it would still stay on the field. So, we're going to put this, so, that's how that is going to be. So now, but for now, what we're going to do is we're going to have our Dark Magician attack this face down defense position monster. But wait! Reverse card open! Yes, I watched the Japanese anime, be quiet. Which I think is better than the English dub of the classic Yu-Gi-Oh, by the way. Just saying. So many people are going to be like, how? You referenced the Japanese anime, what the? Or something like that. They're going to be reacting somehow, probably, I don't know. But anyway, remember, this card has the effect when an opponent's monster declares an attack, return all your opponent's attack position monsters to the hand. And since we have no spell or trap cards to negate it, we're kind of stuck. We have to put these cards back into our hands. So now, in our hand, currently, we have White Ninja, Dark Magician, Call of the Haunted, Cost Down, and Sword Stalker. And it's actually at this point that, it is actually at this point where they do talk about the different kind of spell and traps in this game, but they, again, don't show no examples to tell you how, what would be a good example for each one. But I digress. It's kind of stupid, but it is what it is. But anyway, we are going to go ahead and set Call of the Haunted face down on the field. And because we really got nothing else we can do right now with this hand, we're going to end our turn. Also, this trap card, again, goes into the graveyard as soon as the effect is resolved. And so now it is player S's turn. So we're going to draw a card, and we get the spell card Scapegoat. Another classic card. If you watch the original Yu-Gi-Oh anime, Joey Wheeler had this card in his deck. And there's a reason why. It's a really good card because it gives you 4 separate sheep tokens, which is a bit of a problem. but not in the way you're thinking. Like, yeah, it's actually a good card, but why am I saying it's a bit of a problem? Well, these two decks, this deck setup here, this this deck right here did not come with any tokens. It did not. So if you're gonna use that spell card, Scapegoat, you would have to try to find some way to get tokens involved. Luckily for me, in my case, I'm actually a bit of a lucky person. Because look at how many cards these are just the token cards, as well as like the advertisement cards they use in this thing here. Yeah, I got so many of them that I could honestly just use them all in some way, shape, or form. Okay, but we'll get into tokens in a bit here. Right now, I'll go ahead and put them right in the middle, so that way they are right there and you can see them. But anyway, like I said though, getting back into the duel, we do have our three cards. We got Ojama Green, Swords of Revealing Light, and Scapegoat. Now, if you look at our field, we have one monster in defense position, and we've got, and my opponent has a card face down in the spell and trap zone. So, excuse me. So what we're going to do yeah, I'm trying to keep an eye on how we're doing this here. Okay, so we do have Scapegoat, like I said, but it requires 4 sheep tokens. But if we did that, all of the other field zones will be used, so we we don't really want to do that. So what we can do, if I can find my English, is we're going to go ahead and set Scapegoat face down on the field. Well, it does say behind this card, but we'll put it right here because it is technically behind it. And we're going to go ahead and end our turn. It's going to end player S's turn. Now, it is player X's turn. Draws a card. And it is Cyber Dragon. This is a level 5 dragon. This is a level 5 monster with the effect. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So now is where special summon comes in. You can special summon as many cards as you want as long as you meet the requirements for that special summon. In Cyber Dragon's case, since we don't have any monsters, but our opponent does, we can special summon Cyber Dragon into attack mode. So now we are going to go ahead. So we're going to go ahead and so what we can do here is we're going to go ahead and activate the spell card, cost down, by discarding one card. Our monster's level will be decreased by 2 until the end of the turn. So there you go. We discarded our monster, and so now any card in our hand. So yeah, as you can tell here, I'll just show this again in case anybody got confused. Discard one card for the rest of this turn. Reduce the levels of all monsters in your hand by 2, even after they are summoned. So, we're going to go ahead and summon Sword Stalker into attack mode. Now, so now, this is going to be fun for us and not so fun for the opponent. So now, it even says here, when you special summon a monster, it always has to go face up unless the card says you can summon face down. So, yeah. In any case, we're going to attack, and we're going to have Cyber Dragon, our highest attack monster, destroy the Space Down card, which was Spirit of the Harp, and it is destroyed, but no life points lost because, again, attack points, attacking the attack position monsters, destroying defense position monsters result in that monster being destroyed if the attacking monster's attack is higher than the defense position monster's defense, but no battle damage is taken because the defense position monster was in defense, and that's the whole point. It's supposed to defend your life points, not just go full on attack. Because if it was an attack, it would have done a heck of a lot of damage for an 800 point monster taking on a 2100 attack monster. Seriously, it's crazy. Why anybody would have this kind of monster in attack mode and not face down defense, I don't even know. But whatever. In any, in any event, we're going to go ahead and have Swordstalker attack our opponent's life points directly. But wait! We're going to activate our spell card, Scapegoat, which means we can put 4 sheep tokens onto the field in face-up defense position. And that's where these cards are going to come in. Right over here. Just like that. 4 sheep tokens. And it does go on the card, it does say on the card right here, I probably should have shown this to you, but I'll show it to you now, since it's already being used. This card's effect is Special Summon 4 Sheep Tokens, Beast, Earth Level 1, Attack 0, Defense 0, in defense position. It cannot be tributed for a tribute summon. You cannot summon other monsters the turn you activate this card, but you can normal set. So, there you go, we got our cards there. And now we are pretty defended right now with our 4 tokens, which I have by myself from other structure decks because, like I said, these decks did not come with tokens. Yet you're supposed to use Scapegoat as a means for the tokens. What's even funnier is what they say in the book. When the defenders month, yeah, this is what I find funny. If you look on this page right here, what it says here is really funny. You can use anything to represent token monsters. Coins, dice, paper clips, pencils, whatever you want. Just have a way to keep track of what battle positions they're in, attack or defense. You would just be better off just trying to get structure decks to give you all the tokens that you're going to need. And for this duel, for this player, you're going to need 5 in total because of another card that we'll get to at a later point in time. But, yeah. And ultimately, though, we got our 4 monsters defending us, so now we're doing a replay. Swordstalker was about to attack us directly, but since we got the 4 tokens here, the attacking player can replay the battle and have Swordstalker attack any one of these tokens if the attacking player wanted to. Well, the attacking player wanted to, and so now we're going to have Swordstalker attack. We're going to have Swordstalker attack this token. Now, for token monsters, they do not go into the graveyard. They're basically gone. They're basically gone with the wind. They're vanished. You might as well put them in a banished zone or something. So I'm going to go ahead just for the sake of play, because actually, just for the sake of play, I'll just put these over here to show that they were already used up. But they're not supposed to go into the graveyard, so I'm just putting it there just as a means to say, yeah, it's gone for good, we're not using it ever again. In any event. In any case, we're going to have that happen, and we are going to go ahead and end our turn with our White Ninja being on the only card in our hand. So now, it is player S's turn. That was a pretty good turn, though, wouldn't you agree? Pretty good back and forth turn there. But anyway, so we're going to draw, and we get card D. This is a very interesting effect monster with the effect. Cannot be special summoned during your main phase 1. If this card was normal summoned this turn, you contribute this card, draw 2 cards, then it becomes the end phase. You cannot special summon during the turn you activate this effect. So basically, if we were to use this card right now, our turn would automatically end, which, honestly, not really the best idea when you got 2 other cards that you literally could be using. Ojama Yellow as a defense monster, or the spell card, Swords of Prevailing Light, which is, again, really good card. But, we're just getting into this. So now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, since we do have a good variety of powerful monsters in our midst right here, we're going to go ahead and play Swords of Prevailing Light, which means our opponent cannot attack for 3 of their turns. So it'll start on the opponent's next 3 turns. So after this, so the next turn will be the first one. Their next turn, the second turn will be after this one, and then the third turn after that one. So after the third turn, the third turn after that card's activation, it will be sent to the graveyard. But it's not going to be sent to the graveyard right now because of the effect of the card. In any event, we are going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and summon card D in attack mode, and then we are going to tribute it by using its effect to tribute it and draw, and I'm making sure I got the right amount of cards here, and draw 2 cards, and those 2 cards are the Warrior Returning Alive with the effect target 1 warrior monster in your graveyard, add that target to your hand, and one-time passcode with the effect special summon 1 security token, Cyber's Light, level 4, 2000 attack, 2000 defense in defense position. You can only activate one-time passcode per turn. Just so we're all on the same page on what cards we're drawing here. So, since we use the effect of card D, our turn immediately ends. But Swords of Prevailing Light still stays on the field because of the effect. And I'm doing what I said I was going to be doing here, but I forgot to do that there. So now, it is player X's turn. And player X draws. And I'm making sure I got this right because the last time I felt like I got it wrong. But, okay then. Alright, so next we got Eldritch the Golden Lord. This card has the pretty good amount of effects here, but the effects are you can send this card and 1 spell trap from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 card on the field. Send it to the graveyard. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 spell trap you control to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. Then you can special summon 1 zombie monster. I just realized I don't have the full card on there. Special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand, and if you do, until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1000 attack and defense, and cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can only use each effect of Eldritch the Golden Lord once per turn. So, this is going to be fun here. But, so while we could do something here, we really can't do anything here. So, because we really cannot do anything here, we are going to go ahead. And I actually love how, in the book, I'm actually looking at the book while we're doing this here. And if you notice, it actually shows the cards that are supposed to be in each player's hands up to this point, which is kind of funny. Which is kind of funny to me. So, because we really got nothing good in our hands to deal with, I mean, look at this. We got look at this. We don't have any reason to go for this card right now because all the monsters are very weak, and we don't want to waste this on our opponent's cards with their tokens. And this card has an effect, has at least one effect that we could do, but because we don't have the requirements for this one, we can't really do anything. So we are going to go ahead and end the turn. Okay, so now it is player S's turn, and they draw. Okay. They draw DD Pro, which has the effect, quick effect. You can discard this card to the graveyard, then turn the one card in your opponent's graveyard, banish that target. So yeah, that's our hand right here. Okay. So, here's what we could pretty much do. It does show that DD Pro has what is called a quick effect. Let's see what the book says, because we like to reference this book and see if it's correct. A quick effect. Here, let me do it like this for you here. So yeah, let me show you this like this. If you guys can see the card, yeah, hopefully you guys can. Quick effect can be activated even during your opponent's turn. Some quick effects need the monster to be in play. Some of them, like DD Pro, work directly from your hand. This is an example of a monster whose ability means it never even hits the field, although you can also summon it like a regular monster if you wanted to. But, so with that explained, we're going to go ahead, since Swords of Revealing Light is stopping us from attacking these three monsters, we're going to, well actually, yeah, since, so actually no, I'm getting the decks mixed up, sorry. Since this card is protecting us from being attacked by these two monsters, right now this monster is not in the spell and trap zone because it's not supposed to be there, but I put it there so that way you guys know it's in the hand and not the actual spell and trap zone, because that's what this back row is. And I realize I'm supposed to have put cost down. I'm supposed to put cost down in the graveyard. Blooper number one. Blooper number one. How many bloopers am I going to have? Let's see. Well, there's the first one, because that card was supposed to be in that graveyard a long time ago. And I completely forgot about it until just now. So there's blooper number one. Like I said before, if you use a card up and you've met all the requirements, it goes straight into the graveyard. I'm just doing that as a bit of reminders to myself and to anybody at home that may have forgotten about it like I did. Just saying. In any event, we are going to go ahead and, since we have a spell card protecting us, we're going to go ahead and activate the spell card, one-time passcode, which allows us to summon a token with 2,000 attack and 2,000 defense. And so what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and put our monster, here, let me make sure these are all lined up together and not in a way messed up here. We're going to go ahead and put it right here in defense mode, right there. And this will be attack mode for it, by the way. So, in this situation, this will be defense mode and this will be attack mode for the card. But it's saying it's going to put it in defense mode, so that's what we're going to do. So now that we did that, we're going to go ahead and put this card in the graveyard, like I completely somehow forgot. And so now we have, it's kind of funny how we got 3 tokens right here. And so these 3 are the scapegoat tokens, and this one is the security token. Just so we're all on the same page, alright? So now we are going to go ahead and end our turn, because we got a card that can protect us from attacks for another 2 turns. And we got our field very well protected. So we're going to go ahead and end our turn like that. Now it is player X's turn, and they draw Skill Successor. This trap card has the effect: target one face-up monster you control. I just noticed the thing I hear there. It gains 400 attack at the end of until the end of this turn. During your turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up monster you control. That target gains 800 attack until the end of this turn. I know I completely did not show off the whole of the card, but my explanation of the card should tell you what it does with it. Also, it should be duly noted, I love how it's got both Swamp and Lava Battle Guard on the card picture. That's actually a really cool picture when you think about it. In any event, now we are going to go ahead. So now we are going to go ahead and so now we got plenty of options here. We could use Skill Successor to activate Eldritch's special ability. But so there's that. You could use the trap effects. We got Skill Successor for the trap effects, but Eldritch does require a spell or trap to activate its effect, so it's not really going to work. Alright, so now the big question is, what should we do? Well, if you guys were paying attention, this is the second turn of the Swords of Revealing Light's effect being activated. So after our next turn, Swords of Revealing Light will be gone. Destroyed, out of our hair finally. So the best thing to do for now, is to end the turn. Always, and you don't want to go too crazy. It even goes into detail of Skill Successor right here. Saying, Skill Successor, like many traps and spells, have two effects, one when it's first played on the field, and another after it's in the graveyard afterwards. It also can banish itself. A card that is banished is removed from the game. It doesn't go to the graveyard. It just goes away onto the side, never to be seen again in this duel, unless a card says to bring it back. Yeah, pretty much. So now we've learned all the basics, it says here. Now it's time to get into some advanced stuff and talk about your extra deck monsters. Those are the 4 monsters you set aside before we started to play. Go ahead and take a look at them now. So, before we continue, let's take a look at the extra deck monsters for each deck. We got Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Skies Thunder. We got Castel, the Sky Blaster Musketeer. Number 20, Giga Brilliant. And Daigusto Emerald. Daigusto Emerald. So that is for the Xyz monsters in this deck. Next up, for the Synchro monsters, we have Coral Dragon. Rampaging Smash Tank Rhinosaur. Or Rhino Saber, I'm sorry. Vanadium Prime Heart. And Stygian Sergeants. Yeah, Stygian Sergeants. I just noticed I didn't have it on the camera for a little bit. Now I did, so there you go. So those are the 4 cards for the extra deck. Alright. So now that we got that taken care of, now it's going to go into detail on the extra decks. Which is kind of funny to me. Because if you notice, it's in black and white. So unless you've seen what the actual cards are like, you wouldn't know what the heck a fusion, link, or pendulum monsters do. You don't know what they are, but they do go into detail about literally everything about your extra deck. Saying extra deck is always separate from your main deck. Keep it off to the side face down, which is what I said earlier. Your extra deck will contain extra deck monsters, Synchro, Xyz, Fusion, Link, and Pendulum, which is, they even put, look at this, they even say, it contains extra deck monsters, including Synchro, White, Xyz, Black, Fusion, Purple, Link, Blue, and Pendulum, which is complicated. Even they were like, yeah, we probably made a bad decision introducing pendulum monsters. We'll just talk about Synchro and MZs for now. Even Konami was like, yeah, we kind of messed up there, guys. I don't know what we were thinking. Somebody was probably either just crazy, stupid, we're on something, or we're doing something, or we're just a little bit punch drunk. I don't know, but yeah, that's why that became a thing, and we don't know why it's still a thing anymore. In all honesty, I would not be surprised based on that description of pendulums if Konami decides to quietly do away with them. Because they are pretty complicated. So I'm gonna, but I will try my best to explain it. Okay, so let me show you guys this real quick. You got this one right here, and this one right here. These are the pendulum zones. Actually, let me get something real quick because I actually have them. So, I do actually have a deck that could actually kind of help me explain these here. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it? No, that's not it. Right. Where? Right here. Right here it is. I gotta think about this. So, where's the other one at? What? Now, I know for a fact it's in here. Ah, there it is. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I'll have to fix that later. But, right now we got something more. We got bigger fish to fry. In any event, so, yeah. These are the most tricky monsters you could ever do. You could ever create. These are pendulum monsters, and at least one of the more basic forms of it. Because you have so many different type of monsters that could be under a pendulum monster, where they have the monster border on the upper half being a monster border, and the bottom half being the spell card border. To put it simply, you could activate these cards as simple spell cards, like so. So like that, I'm just doing these as an example. These are not part of the deck in any way, shape, or form. You put these cards right here, and they will have these small windows right here, if I can actually show them properly without flipping it up. So yeah, you got these small windows right here, right next to the numbers. They are your spell card descriptions, whereas if you were to summon them as a monster, which I believe you can, if you summon them as a monster, like so, you could, you use the monster effect that is on the bottom, at the bottom of each card, right here. Now, if you are going to do this in the spell and trap zone with these two monsters here, you will see that these two monsters have a bit of a number beside them in between the like they have the number on the left and right with the spell card effect with the spell card effect in the middle of the two numbers. That is because these numbers are very important in their own right. In this situation, you have a number 2 and a number 5. In this situation, you will do what is called a pendulum summon, which allows you to summon any monster between, in this situation, since it's level 2 and level 5, you can pendulum summon any monster on the top row that are level 3 or level 4, because you can't go 2 to 5, it can go only to 3 to 4, because they are in between the 2 and 5. Yeah. And that is called a pendulum summon. I don't know if I explained it completely, and I'll honestly very, very surprised if I did. But there is one key thing here. What happens if a pendulum monster is removed from the field? This is where it gets a bit convoluted. Okay, if it is if I remember correctly, and again I could be wrong with this, and I'll be very surprised if I actually got it correct. If it is destroyed by battle, these cards go right to the extra deck, face up on the extra deck, and I can't remember how it works outside of the extra deck. Because, again, it's a bit convoluted. But yeah, you can put them in the extra deck. If it is destroyed, I don't know about card effects, but if it's destroyed, it goes into the extra deck. But I don't know if with card effects it goes into the extra deck itself, or if it goes into the graveyard. I don't know because I never really have any experiences with them. I literally only have 3 Pendulum Monsters. These 2 came from the Rise of Crystal Beast extra deck, like the Rise of Crystal Beast structure deck that I have, and I have another one involving the Spirit Channelers structure deck, which is the worst one you could have. Unless you plan on getting all the booster boxes to help make it more powerful. In any event, we're going to go ahead and get right back into this here. In any event, we're going to go ahead and put these to the right here, because they are supposed to go into the extra deck, apparently, and I did not know that. But whatever. In any event, we are going back into the business of what we're dealing with here right now. Now that we got that out of the way, we can move on with the duel. And we'll get into synchros and how synchros and NC summons work. Now it is player S's turn. I had to make sure whose turn it was before I did anything, so that way I don't get lost. So now it is player S's turn. And so player S is going to draw. If this card is control or in your graveyard, banish it, and if you do, special summon the. If this card is in your graveyard, you can tell one super monster you control or banish it, and if you do, add this card to your hand. You can only use each effect of Obsessive Loop once per turn. Yeah, kind of not the best, not entirely the best effect monster with that, because, I mean, look at the stats, 1200 attack, 1800 defense, but it is a tuner monster. And for synchro summons, we will need the big ingredient of tuner monsters. Now, some tuner monsters will, or not tuner, plus 1 tuner, plus 1 plus non-tuner. So basically 1 or more non-tuners along with the 1 tuner here. But others will be a bit more, what's the word I'm looking for? But there are some synchro monsters that will be very specific in the cards that you use to synchro summon them. For reasons. Case in point, if you wanna know which one I'm referring to, best case scenario, go for the Crimson King structure deck, and you'll see exactly what I mean when I say that, because that deck is so much more with the synchro monsters, because there are a crap ton of them in that structure deck, which is why so many people would highly recommend it, because out of all the monsters that we got here, synchro monsters, in my opinion, are the easiest ones to summon, because all you gotta do is something that we're gonna explain here in a little bit. In any case, we are going to go ahead and summon Obsessive Loop into attack mode. Now, so if there are extra deck monsters, alright, we're going to look through our extra deck monsters. Let's see here. Oh, this card looks good. So, we're going to go ahead. And take Obsessive Loop and 1 sheep token, because it is level 1 after all. We're going to put those 2 in the graveyard. And so, we're going to summon we're gonna summon Stygian, I don't know. But anyway, Sergeants. It's a Fiend Synchro effect monster with the effect requires one Fiend tuner plus one or more one plus non-tuner monsters, which we did. And Obsessive Loop was a Fiend monster if you looked at the card text correctly. It has the effect when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard. You can make this card gain 800 attack until the end of the battle phase. Also, this card can make a second attack in a row. Now, here's the thing with this card. You can either put it in either extra monster zone, if you wanted to, or you can put it in a regular monster zone. There is no limit to what you could do. Alright, so we're going to put this card in face-up attack position. Oh wait, I forgot something here. Tokens don't go in the graveyard. I just remembered that. Sorry, we're moving on. But anyway, yeah, tokens are going to be put right there for the sake of the duel, because one sheep token was already destroyed and this one was used to synchro summon this monster. So, there you go. In any event, we're going to go ahead and move on. So now, since we still have Swords of Revealing Light on our field, it still stops our opponent from attacking. Hold on. I gotta mute real quick. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. In any event, like I was saying before I got interrupted by a family member, with Swords of Revealing Light, while it does prevent your opponent from attacking, it doesn't stop you from attacking, because otherwise, why would you put it on the field aside from keeping your opponent from attacking? Sometimes some cards have it. Now, there are some spell traps that do affect both players, but we're not going to go into those type of spell cards in this duel, but I just wanted to point that out. Field spells, for example, will affect both fields on both sides of the field. That I'm pretty certain. I used to believe it was where it would affect where if one field spell will affect the whole field, but if a second field spell is played, then that field spell would affect this field, and that field spell would affect this field. But apparently, both field spells would affect the whole field. Thank you, Team APS, for teaching me that, by the way. I love referencing those guys because I love watching their stuff, dude. I'm telling you. In any event, we're going to go ahead and okay, I need to put these cards down here because I don't really have a need for them anymore. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and change our security token to a face-up attack mode, because remember, security token has 2,000 attack and 2,000 defense, which makes it a pretty good card. So there you go. That's why we got it there. That's why we're changing it to attack. So we're going to go ahead and have our sergeants attack Cyber Dragon. Our trap card will not help us here. So we're going to have sergeants attack Cyber Dragon, and it is destroyed. and we go to, and this player goes down to 11,000 life points. Now, in our second turn, now, because of its effect, it will increase its attack by 800, putting Sergeants to 3,000 attack points, and it can attack again, which we're going to do again, to Swordstalker. So now, we're down to 10,000 life points for player X, and this card is going to attack the player directly because why not? So we're going to attack it directly, and this is going to be 8,000 to 6,500. So now the tide of the duel has shifted a little bit to where this player is no longer feeling like Darts from season 4 of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this card in this deck this side can actually have a bit of a comeback. Holy crap! Now, you could be asking, why didn't player X use the Call of the Haunted Trap card that he set down? Remember, one little thing. Even though he went down from 11,100 to 8,000, for two things. Number one, he still has a very high amount of life points, so there's no reason for him to use that card right now. And number two, he's currently winning. Player X is currently winning still. He has 8,000 life points, while Player S has 6,500 life points. That's why it would not be a good idea to use Call of the Haunted right now. But we're moving on with that description, and whether you believe me or not, or you like that explanation, it's the truth. Hold on a second. Okay, alright. Alright. Okay. Alright, the night. Jeez. Family member just came in here to give me a phone. One of our other house phone just in case. In any event, we are going to go ahead and end our turn. With that. So now, it is player X's turn. And we draw Crane. This is an effect monster with the effect. When this card is normal summoned, you can turn one level 3 monster in your graveyard, special summon that target, but negate its effects. You can only use this effect of Crane once per turn. This card has 300 attack and 900 defense, by the way. So we drew Crane. And now, because of this particular turn, we can now show you how to Xyz summon a monster. And you guys and any player who's new to this will see it in action, okay? So, first and foremost, we're going to normal summon Crane into attack mode. And then we're going to activate its special ability. No, wait a minute. Actually, I got that wrong. I'm following the book. Calm down, okay? But I'm doing it to the best of my ability, and I'm going to try to explain it a lot better than this book ever could, okay? So, we are actually going to go ahead. Now, we're going to start by summoning White Ninja in attack mode. That is the right move, guys. Calm down. Yeah, we got this now. So we're going to go ahead and flip up Call of the Haunted. And we are going to search our deck for a monster. That's the whole point of this deck. And we got our monster that we're going to use for this right here. We are going to special summon Lejin into attack mode. Right there. Just like that. Now, we have 2 level 4 monsters here. And we are going to go ahead and Xyz summon a monster. So how Xyz summoning works is you take So how Xyz Summoning works is where there's going to be a description on the card. I'm going to use this for an example here. So for this example, we're going to Xyz Summon. We're going to Xyz Summon Daigusto Emerald. Because our two monsters are level 4, and this does require 2 level 4 monsters, as it says there, we're going to go ahead and drop my card. Hold on a second. We're going to go ahead and put Lejin, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp, and White Ninja under the card. And we're going to put it over there. Put it like that. That's to show that it does have Xyz material. These are important for your card's effects. So we're clear. Oh, excuse me. Just so we are clear. And there you go. So, you have your Xyz monster and the Xyz material used to summon that Xyz monster. So now that we've got that, we have a monster with 2 abilities. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use the So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and use Daigusto Emerald's second effect. Target one once per turn you can detach 1 material from this card, then activate one of these effects. The effects are target 3 monsters in your graveyard, shuffle all 3 into the deck, then draw 1 card. Or target 1 non-effect monster in your graveyard, special summon that target. We're going to go ahead and detach White Ninja from the card to special summon 1 normal type monster from our graveyard. And we're basically going to pull a Pharaoh move with this, because we are going to summon Rabid Dragon, our most powerful monster as far as attack and defense goes, to the field. We're going to special summon it, and there you go. Now we have a few things going on here. So we got a few things going on here. There's that. So this is the last turn. Since it was 3 turns since Swords of Revealing Light was activated. Once this turn is over, that card is going to the graveyard. Finally! But we still gotta do something about this synchro monster over here. See this? We gotta take care of that. What are we gonna do? Let's see here. So what we're going to do, this is going to be fun here. So this is going to be real fun here. So what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with this? We need to get rid of that card. Well, this is where Eldritch comes in. Remember, it has, you can send this card to 1 spell trap from your hand to the graveyard, then target 1 card in the field and send it to the graveyard. And then, if this card is in your graveyard, you can send 1 spell trap you control to the graveyard, add this card to your hand, then you can special summon 1 zombie monster from your hand, and if you do, just until the end of the opponent's turn, it gains 1000 attack and defense. It cannot be destroyed by a card effect. You can only use each effect of Eldritch, the Golden Lord, once per turn. So, just for all sake and purposes, we're going to go ahead and discard both it and Skill Successor from the field. Or from my hand, and we're going to target this card and destroy it. Goodbye. He's gone. Gone, but not forgotten. Now, so now there's that taken care of. Now you may be, so now, there we go, problems eliminated. And now, since we are going to go ahead and end the turn, Swords of Revealing Light goes right straight to the graveyard. Boom. Just like that. And there you go. So now, we are going to go ahead and end the turn. This is where things get more exciting, don't it? Let's see here. Let's see what's going to happen now. So we are going to go ahead and draw. It is player S's turn. Player S is going to draw a card. And we get, if my card is supposed to be correct. Oh wait, I forgot something here, actually. Not quite that turn yet. Gotta love it when I'm reading the book and I miss a part. We do have that, we do have this DD Crow in our hand. We're going back to the end of the player X's turn because I forgot about this step. Don't worry, I've made a few of them already, like 4 of them already at this point, for whatever reason. Remember, this card has the effect: if you discard this card, send it to the graveyard, then turn it 1 card in your opponent's graveyard, banish that target. We're going to go ahead and discard this card to the graveyard. And with that, we are going to go ahead and, we're going to get rid of this card, the Soul Successor card. We're going to get rid of this card. We're going to banish it to the... We're going to banish it right there. I know that's where one of the side deck goes, but I'm putting it right there. There you go. Whatever. I'm just doing these two so that way we know which side's which. This side is for them. This side is for them. Just so we're on the same page there. In any event, you may be wondering, what happened with Call of the Haunted? It does actually talk about this. Call of the Haunted, if you guys don't remember, Call of the Haunted had the effect where if this card was destroyed, destroy the monster that was used here, which was Legion, the Mystical Genie of the Lamp. But if the monster was destroyed, destroy this card. Since Legion was never technically destroyed and was instead used as Xyz material, this card is still on the field. So yeah. Some people, I used to wonder why. I used to mistakenly put this in there because Legion is technically not on the field. It's under a different monster, so I put it in the graveyard. No, that's not how it works. I completely forgot that second half. Well, at least I know of it, but I misinterpreted it. That was my bad. In any event, we're moving on, and so there we go. That's just how it is here. So now it is player S's turn, and now they draw this card. That is Visas Starfrost. This monster has the effect: if this card is in your hand, you can target one monster you control with a different type and attribute than this card, destroy that monster, and if you do, special summon this card. You can only use this effect of Visas Starfrost once per turn. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can make this card gain attack equal to half the original attack or defense of that monster, whichever is higher, your choice if tied. Yeah, so, what shall we do here? So, we can actually special summon this card right here. So now we have a way to actually special summon this monster because while it is a light warrior monster, these two are earth beast monsters. So now, what we can do, pretty much, is destroy a sheep token, just like that, and special summon Visas Starfrost in attack mode. Yes, gotta love it. So now, we're going to have this player. So we're now going to have Visas Starfrost attack Gusto Emerald. And it is officially destroyed. But this card is still staying here because, again, Legion was technically Xyz material, so this card is still staying here for that very reason. With that being said, so Starfrost attack is now up to 3,000. And, as I put it, unlike Stygian Sergeants, this attack is permanent. So it will still have 3,000 attack for the remainder of the time it is on the field. Now we got this stuff here. But before we end the turn, we're going to go ahead, switch our security token back to defense mode, because obviously it is not the strongest monster anymore. This card is, and this card is going to be protecting us because it is on the field in attack mode. There you go. Okay, so I just realized my thing is here. We got, I apologize for missing out on the chat. I completely apologize. My phone does not like showing me for some reason. So we got, I did respond to Nicole. So, Moomin underscore say, said, bro is cooking fire. I'm new to Yu-Gi-Oh! Any tips? If I'm gonna give any tips to anybody, first and foremost, honestly, the best thing you could do for a Yu-Gi-Oh! If you really want to get started on how to play the game, always go for the structure decks. And I know I talked about this channel earlier, so I'm going to say it again. Team APS actually has a video where they do go into detail for new Yu-Gi-Oh! Players. I'll probably put a community post and link it later, because it is so much helpful compared to compared to me, because I have so many structure decks over here on my table. I could probably make a whole video showing off every structure deck that I have, even though I, for the most part, already did. But in any case, it is what it is there. Yo Yu-Gi-Oh! Baller, that's what's up, my dude. Stefan OMFG saying that. For me personally, I will say this much. Every person has their own preferred trading card game. You got Pokemon, which is another one of my personal favorites that I grew up with. You got Yu-Gi-Oh!, which I also grew up with. You got Magic the Gathering, which took away Yu-Gi-Oh!'s Magic card and made them change it to Spell card. Whatever. But I've never played it, but I have heard of it. And you've got some recently coming, and you also have these other card games that have just recently come out in recent years. Two of them in particular: Dragon Ball Super trading card game and Digimon trading card game. Never played them, and I don't know if I want to, because I don't know anybody that has played those card games. But yeah, my best advice to anybody coming out playing this game for the first time: best thing to do, get a structure deck. They're pretty cheap, but they will always help you out. They pretty much start you off with anything. If I were to make my own recommendation on a really good structure deck, when I first started collecting structure decks, my first structure decks were Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon, and Beware of Trap Tricks, I believe. Those were my two first ever structure decks that I've collected, and now I've collected literally 18 of them, including these two, because I have a thing that I'm doing that's coming out later. That's going to be happening later this year, which I've gone into detail before, and I'll go into detail again at a later point in time for them. For that, and it does involve the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game, by the way. It does involve these, but it's going to be mainly involving just me, because I literally don't know anybody that can actually play these decks, because I live out in the country, and that's a lot of fun when you live out in the country, so you can't really interact with too many people, and especially people that you don't know if they play Yu-Gi-Oh! Or not, but whatever. But yeah. So, anyway, we went ahead and did our thing right here, so we are going to go ahead and end our turn. Because we did do what we had to do, we got rid of this card, and so this card is still on the field, but it cannot attack us because we are now 50 points higher than this card. That's fun, isn't it? Alright, so now it is player X's turn, and we draw Xyz Reborn, and that is how you pronounce. I used to say XYZ, kind of like XYZ Dragon Cannon, but no, it's pronounced Xyz in this situation. It's still XYZ Dragon Cannon, but in this case, it is Xyz. But anyway, this trap card has the effect: target one Xyz monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, attach this card to it as material. I wonder how that could be helpful. So, first off, what we need to do is we got to. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and set our Xyz Reborn card face down onto the field. But we got a bit of a problem, don't we, Player X? Ah, yes. You got this Viscous Starfrost right here on the field with 3,000 attack. Your strongest monster, Rabbit Dragon, is weaker than it by literally 50 points. What the heck are you gonna do? Simple, actually. It's a lot more simple than you realize. Because, if you recall correctly, we got Eldritch the Golden Lord in our graveyard. And its effect is, if this card is in your graveyard, you can send one spell trap you control to the graveyard, add this card to your hand, then you can special summon one zombie monster from your hand, and if you do, until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1,000. I know I just didn't show the whole card there, but there you go. It should be fixed now. You gain 1,000 attack and defense and cannot be destroyed by a card effect. You can only use each effect of Eldritch. I said Eldritch the whole time, but it's Eldritch. Hey, camera. I haven't done anything to you this whole time. Cool it. Okay? Just cool your jets. Alright? Alright. In any case, it's a good monster that we need to have on the field to take care of Viscous Starfrost. So we're going to go ahead and target our Call of the Haunted, because it is completely worthless to us now, because Legend is no longer on the field. So there you go. We're going to go ahead and put Eldritch the Golden Lord, not Eldritch the Golden Lord, Eldritch the Golden Lord, back into our hand. And since we did that, we can special summon a zombie monster from our hand. It even says there. Again, if this card is in your graveyard, you can send one spell trap you control to the graveyard, add this card to your hand. Then you can special summon one zombie monster from your hand, and if you do, until the end of your opponent's turn, it gains 1,000 attack and defense and cannot be destroyed by card effects. So we can actually special summon this card because it's literally the only zombie type monster that we got in our hand. So we can special summon it, and it's gonna get 3,500 attack points. There we go. Eldritch the Golden Lord in attack position. There you go. We special summoned our monster, and that's all that matters. So we're going to go ahead. And enter the battle phase. Going to enter the battle phase, and now that he has 3,500 attack, we're going to have this boy attack this monster, and destroy it. And so did I just do it again? I did it again. God damn it. I need to quit doing that, man. I need to remember to put the tokens in the bandit zone pretty much and keep them away from the graveyard. I did it again. That's number 5. Blooper number 5, but we're still gonna keep going because we're literally near the end of this. Literally, we're nearly at the end of this. Look that's how many pages of the book I got left. Right here when my right hand is on. Right there, that's how much we got left. The event. In any event, we are going to go ahead and have Rabbit Dragon attack the security code monster. And since it was in defense mode, no life points are lost. So they are down to this one token. That is the sheep token. The final sheep token that they are supposed to be left in. So now we are going to go ahead. Wait. Oh, okay. Yeah, alright. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and since Eldritch still has 3,500 until the end of this turn, we're going to we're going to go ahead, draw a card, and it is Vanadium Fearless. This is a Fairy Tutor Effect monster with the effect, if you control Vista, Starfrost, or a monster with 1500 attack and 2100 defense, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can always special summon Vanadium Fearless once per turn. This way, if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon one Vanadium Fearless from your deck. Also, during the battle phase this turn, synchro monsters you control gain 500 attack. This is interesting. But in any case, let's see what happens here. We are going to go ahead. So we are going to go ahead and wait. Hey, Forrest, you're using the wrong hand, ding dong. This is player S's hand. What am I doing? I don't know. So this is player S's hand for the new people showing up. This is what's supposed to be in their hand right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and summon Drama Green in face-up attack mode. Boom, just like that. Next, we are going to go ahead and summon or play the spell card, the Warrior Returning Alive, which allows us to bring a warrior monster from our graveyard straight to our hand. And I just realized again, Forrest, you're supposed to put tokens. Yeah, I seen that. I seen that coming. As I was saying, I put the tokens in the banished zone, ding dong. You're supposed to be doing that. Calm down. That's what you're supposed to do. So now our hand has Vanadium Fearless and Vissa's Starfrost on our hand. We'll go ahead and tribute our final Earth token, going into the banished zone again. So there's that. My camera stand just loves messing with me, doesn't it? And we're going to special summon Vista Starfrost yet again. And now, because of that, we are going to go ahead and special summon. Going to summon this card and summon this card. Boom, just like that. And now, so now we have a tuner, two tuners actually, and 10 levels of monsters, and 10 levels is exactly enough to summon a particular monster. So we're going to go ahead, put these three cards into the graveyard, and we are going to special summon. We're going to synchro summon Vanadium Prime Heart. This is a level 10 monster. Requires 1+ tuners and one light monster at the very least. With the effect, this card can attack a number of times in each battle phase, up to the number of tuners used for its synchro summon. If this card was synchro summoned using a Vanadium tuner as a material, your opponent cannot target with card effects. If this face-up synchro monster card in its owner's control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon one of your monsters with 1500 attack, 2100 defense, or your Visa Starfrost that is banished or in your graveyard. Really good card, isn't it? Yes, it is. So now, with that, we are going to go ahead, excuse me, and I need to put this right here. I'm going to put this right where it was supposed to be, which is supposed to be right there. But actually, it was supposed to be right here, about right there. So there's that. Alright. Yep. So there's that. Trying to make sure my camera stand doesn't mess with me here. So now So now, with that all being said, that one, it doesn't even say here. It's unusual that it does kind of go into detail about how most synchro monsters would say plus one tuner plus like one or two or three tuners plus one plus non-tuner monsters. This one actually has it to where you need a tuner and a light monster, just in general, just as long, and you can do a tuner monster with a light monster as long as it's a light monster. You know, either way, it should still work. In any case, in any case, now we have the ability, which counts the number of tuners used per summon, which was 2. This is Starfrost and Vanadium Fearless. So that's 2 attacks per turn. So we're going to go ahead and attack Rabid Dragon. So that takes this player down to 50 life points, which should, or not down to 50 life points, but it should take them down to, since they lose 50 life points, it goes down to 79.50, if my math is correct on that, if I am remembering the math correctly. But because of the fact that Eldritch is too powerful for our monster to deal with, we will have to end our turn. So now it is player X's turn. And player X draws the famous Dark Magician Girl! Just like that. So now we have Dark Magician Girl, but since she is a level 6 monster with the effect, it gains 300 attack for every Dark Magician or Magician of Black Chaos in the graveyard. That is what the effect is. We do have something right here, so we're going to go ahead. We do have something else for Crane, so we are going to go ahead and summon Crane into attack mode, and its effect activates. With this card as normal summon, you can target one level 3 monster in your graveyard, special summon that target, but negate its effects. You can only use this effect of Crane once per turn. So we're going to go ahead and use Crane. I'm going to put Dark Magician down there. And for Crane effect, we're going to be looking in our deck for a level 3 monster, like I said, and we got Giant Soldier of Stone, which is a normal monster, but it does have it's just a normal monster, so it has no effect, but it is a level 3 monster that we can use, so there we go, that's what we're doing. So we're going to summon Giant Soldier of Stone into face-up attack position, and then we are going to So now we are going to go ahead and use these two monsters together to Xyz summon number 20, Giga Brilliant, with the effect requires 2 level 3 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach one monster from this card. All monsters you currently control gain 300 attack. Really good boost card if you think about it. But in any case, we're going to go ahead and put it there. And now we are going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and activate our face down card, Xyz Reborn, which again, for those who didn't see it the first time, target one Xyz monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and if you do, attach this card as material. So, I know I said that really, really fast. So, what we gotta do here is we are going to look in our deck for an Xyz monster, which we did because we just recently used it. Going to go ahead and special summon Daigusto Emerald, and it did say to use this card as material, so Xyz Reborn will be its material, and it is added back onto the field, just like that. Yep. So, and it does say here, that's right, spells and traps can be materials too, but only if it is told to do, but only when it's set, only when a card makes it so. So now, So now we're going to go ahead and use Daigusto Emerald's effect to discard. We're going to detach Xyz Reborn. And we're going to special summon. Sorry for my camera. We're going to special summon one Rabbit Dragon into attack mode. Alright, so now that we got that taken care of, Rabbit Dragon is going to be in defense mode, actually, by the way. And now, sorry, excuse me. So now, we're going to enter the battle phase, and we're going to have Daigusto Emerald attack. We're going to have him attack Vanadium Prime Heart. Now it will take damage because of reasons, but it even says here, that's right, you're going to lose this battle, but it will allow us to summon your strongest monster. Daigusto Emerald is destroyed, and you lose 1,200 life points. That would be player X. Now we're going to exit the battle and enter main phase 2. Now, if you've seen, we have 2 of these monsters, but we're going to take a look at this one. This was a card that we seen earlier. This was Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder. It requires 2 level 12 monsters. It has the effect, once per turn, if an Xyz monster battled this turn, you can also Xyz summon Divine Arsenal AA Zeus Sky Thunder by using one Xyz monster you control as material. Transfer its materials to this card. Quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card, send all other cards from the field to the graveyard. Once per turn, if another card you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effects, yeah, I know I'm not showing the card effects, sorry. Once per turn, if another card or cards you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can detach 1 card from your hand deck or extra deck. You can attach 1 card from your hand deck or extra deck to this card as material. This card has 3,000 attack and 3,000 defense. So with that being said, we can now go ahead. And since I did read this, since a Xyz monster battled this turn, Daigusto, as that was Daigusto, we can rank up into Zeus. Using number 20 Giga Brilliant as material, and because it has material, we can use those materials onto Zeus. Oh, I don't even show it right. Use those materials onto Zeus, and now, instead of just 2, he has 3 materials to work with here. I'm just going to put these here because they're kind of getting a little too much here. Which would be Giga Brilliant, Crane, and Giant Soldier of Stone. The last 2 being under Giga Brilliant's these materials. And now we are going to go ahead and switch Eldritch into defense mode. And that is the end of the turn. It is now a battle of giants. Each player has 3,000 attack. Mega monster in play. Vanadium Prime Heart. It literally goes into detail about these cards. So Vanadium Prime Heart can attack twice per turn and can't be targeted by opponent's card effects. And if it leaves the field, Viscous Starfrost comes back into its place. But Zeus has the quick effect that can detach 2 materials to send all other cards on the field to the graveyard, but it sends both players' monsters, so it would also wipe out Eldritch and Rabbit Dragon. Once per turn, when another card of player X is destroyed, player X can attach a material to Zeus from the hand, deck, or extra deck. But we're not quite done yet, though. Now, it is player X's turn. And player X draws and summon and has... Wait a minute. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. A forest, you should know that it was their turn, and so it's now this turn. So now... So now, we got Barrier Resonator. With the effect, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. The target one tuner you control this turn, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage from attacks involving it. So yeah. Alright, so now, so what we're going to do... So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead. So it says here, the best play here is to force player X to wipe out Eldlik and Rabbit Dragon. Go ahead and attack Zeus. So we're going to go ahead, attack Zeus right here. So we're going to go ahead and attack Zeus. So Zeus will be destroyed by battle. So player X will have to use the effect to save it. Since it's a quick effect, you can... So what we're going to do for player X to keep Zeus very well dealt with at least, I'm going to go ahead and detach Mega Brilliant and Crane to activate Zeus's effect. Eldlik. So Eldlik, Rabbit Dragon, and Vanadium Prime Heart are all... Okay, first of all, he is not going off the field right here. He is staying on it. So, right now, so with this one, with this one, with that effect, Eldlik, Rabbit Dragon on our field is to the graveyard, and Vanadium Prime Heart also to the graveyard. The only card in play is Zeus with Giant Soldier Stone attached. But wait! Vanadium Prime Heart just left the field because of an opponent's card. So Vista Starfrost is summoned back from the graveyard. The duel goes on. So there we go. Boom. Just like that. Just like that. That's how you do it. So now it is our turn, apparently. Because it literally doesn't even say that we end our turn, though. It just says the duel goes on. And then it goes right straight to player X for some reason. So player X is going to draw. Wait, first of all, that's not even the right card. It's supposed to be this one. Forest. Get your cards right, man. So yeah, there you go. That's what it's supposed to be. Not that one that I had before, but that one is the right card there. Alright, so we draw a Charmer Mage. So we're going to go ahead and summon it into attack mode. it can make a direct attack. After Zeus attacks, Viscid Starfrost, declare that attack. So we're going to go ahead and do that, but we are going to activate. But player S is going to activate Barrier Resonator's effect. With the effect, again, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard, then target one tutor monster you control. This turn, it cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, you take no battle damage from attacks involving it. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do that. But since Sheeran is weaker than Viscid Starfrost, it can attack, but we can't change the battle position either. So we are going to go ahead and end the turn. So we are going to go ahead and end the turn. Now, now the fun begins. So now what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and draw a card. And it is the classic card that is Fissure. With the effect, destroy the one face-up monster your opponent controls that has the lowest attack, your choice if tied. So now we got this. So if you remember, so what we can do here, but if you can remember something here, we're going to put this down a little bit. If you remember, some time ago, we had Obsessive Oovaloop, which had the effect that you could, that if it's in the graveyard, I can target one single monster I control in my graveyard, banish it, and if I do, I also add this card to my hand. So we're going to go ahead and remove from play Stygian Sergeants from play. So for the remove Stygian Sergeants from play, we're going to have Obsessive Oovaloop into our hand, like so. And now, we're going to have, we're going to enter our battle phase, I should say. Viscid Starfrost will attack Sheeran the Mage. Sheeran will be destroyed, and Viscid will gain 3,000 attack points. And, or not 3,000 attack points. Starfrost will gain 900 attack points, bringing him back up to 3,000. But since one of player X's cards was just destroyed, player X can attach a material to Zeus from the hand, deck, or extra deck. Player X can look through the deck and pick any card to attach to Zeus. So, we're going to go ahead and add into the card Needle Sealing. Because it has a very bad card effect, but it is very good disease fodder. Needle Sealing, for those wondering, has the effect: if there are 4 or more monsters on the field, destroy all face-up monsters. Yeah. So we're going to put this into this card. Now, by way of this card effect, now, because we had to search through our deck for Needle Sealing, our deck would be shuffled. I suck at normal shuffling, so I do a different kind of shuffle, but it is what it is. But because this is where the teaching duel kind of ends, because of how this deck is going to be what's the word I'm looking for? It's going to be shuffled. That's where this ends. So that's where I'm going to end it. This whole point was not to do a battle. It was just to teach the do's and the ins and outs of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I will say this much, the big issue that people had with this deck is, simply put, well, for starters, this. It could have been a lot better than it was, but it is what it is, you know. For to some degree, to me, it's a mixed bag. It does explain some things in detail, but it doesn't do so in other ways. It's like I said, it's a bit of a mixed bag, so it's not gonna explain in detail. You would literally be better off going on to YouTube and looking up videos on how to play Yu-Gi-Oh in some way, shape, or form. It's that simple. So yeah, that's why this is not very good, and this is why I was comparing the Pokemon TCG Battle Academy, because pretty much what people were complaining about that Battle Academy literally has everything. It has a playmat. It does have 2 decks plus an extra third one. They didn't even have to do that, but they did. And it even has 2 separate books to, it does have 2 separate books, one for the fire deck and the other for the electric type deck. And it does have that third one, which is a normal type EV deck, you know, set it on EV. But for the most part, it's not that bad. It's a lot better than this one, and it does go into a lot better and it does explain the rules of the game a heck of a lot better than this does. Because for starters, while it does say like these cards go into some cards go into the extra deck, it doesn't show examples of this. And even better, you're supposed to use they even have it to where you're supposed to use tokens on this deck with this deck, but you will likely not have tokens if this is your first time with 2 players playing the deck. So you better hope that second player has tokens of their own, otherwise you're not going to be able to do anything. But they seem like they may have figured it out, because they do have it to where on the bottom of this page you have these 4 cutouts. They have these cutouts right here, these 5 cutouts for the sheep tokens and the barcode token, which for me personally, they just could have provided those tokens as cards in general. They really could have, but they didn't for some reason. I guess to kind of balance out the decks with the equal number, I guess, but still, it's not like you couldn't have put them in a separate tokens pack where you had all 5 cards as the tokens in its own pack. They've done that before. Case in point, if you was watching when I did actually. When I was doing my opening when I was doing showing off the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG, you know, the Yu-Gi-Oh! Yugi's World 2 with the decks involving Joey, Kaiba, and Yugi, all 3 decks had a token card on it. And even then, you got so many of these structure decks that have their own thing there. But at the same time, it's like you literally could have done this here. If you were able to put tokens inside structure decks before, you should be able to put them in this structure deck, this structure deck right here, easily. But you chose not to do it just for the sake of equal number of cards. But you easily could have so instead, they put them as cutouts for the practice duel. Why you didn't just put them like as a separate page or 2 for them is beyond me, but whatever. At the end of the day, this that I've shown you is what you're gonna get. Alright? Everything that you see here is what you get. But you guys may be excuse me. Now some of you guys may be wondering, well, what are the other cards in the deck if you're not gonna finish this? Well, I'll show them to you. The rest of the cards on that's not even part of that card. I don't know why that card's here. That's part of my Freeze and Chains deck. But here are the cards here for this one. You got Fierce Tiger Mungu with the effect, all other monsters on the field lose 500 attack once per turn during your main phase. You can destroy all monsters on the field with less attack than this card. Yeah, that's kind of bad, but anyway, we also got Magical Broker. This card has the effect, while you control a continuous spell or trap, this card cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. During your opponent's turn, quick effect, you can send one face-up continuous spell trap you control to the graveyard, draw one card. You can only use this effect of Magical Broker once per turn. Next, we got Star Drawing, a card that I actually have outside of this. If this card is used for an Xyz summon, you can treat it as a level 5 monster. An Xyz monster that was summoned using this card on the field has material gains this effect. If it is Xyz summoned, draw one card. Yep. Next we have Night Beam. Spell card has the effect. Target one set spell trap your opponent controls. Destroy that target. Your opponent cannot activate the targeted card in response to this card's activation. Next we have A Traffic Control with the effect. This is a continuous spell with the effect. If your opponent controls 3 or more monsters, they cannot declare an attack. Next we have Star Changer, a quick play spell with the effect. Target one face-up monster in the field, then activate one of these effects. Increase that target's level by 1. Reduce that target's level by 1. Next we have Gagaga Magician. This is a level 4 dark spellcaster effect monster with the effect. Once per turn, you can declare a level from 1 to 8. This card becomes that level until the end of this turn. You can only control one Gagaga Magician. Cannot be used as synchro material. Next we have the Equip spell, Fighting Spirit. This is like a shield. It looks like a I won't say a cross, but it looks like a cross / shield kind of look to it. But anyway, it has the effect. The equipped monster gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls. If it would be destroyed by battle, you can destroy this card instead. Next we have Burden of the Mighty. The spell card is a continuous spell with the effect. Each face-up monster your opponent controls loses 100 attack times its own level. Yeah, that's how they got it set there. Here's a card that I have. Beast King Barbaros. This card has the effect. You can almost summon or set this card without tributing, but its original attack becomes 1900. You can tribute 3 monsters by tribute summon, but not set this card. If summoned this way, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Next we have another card that I have, Swing of Memories. This card has the effect. Target one normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase of this turn. But it doesn't stop it from attacking, which is I guess a good thing. Next we have Gyroid. This monster has the effect. The first time this card would be destroyed by battle, each turn it is not destroyed. So it's another monster that's good for a defense position monster. But anyway, Dark Factory Mass Production. This spell card has the effect. Target 2 normal monsters in your graveyard. Add them to your hand. Next we have Gravity Axe Grawl. This equipped spell card has the effect. The equipped monster gains 500 attack. Monsters your opponent controls cannot change their battle position. Next we have Book of Moon. This quick play spell has the effect. Target one face-up monster on the field. Change that target to face-down defense position. Next we have Mystical Space Typhoon, which has the quick play spell effect. Target one spell trap on the field. Destroy that target. Next we got another classic card, Penguin Soldier. Flip effect. You can target up to 2 monsters on the field. Return those targets to the hand. And it says up to 2, not just 2. So you can do it with 1 monster, or you can do it with 2 monsters. That is up to you. Next up, you got Magician of Faith, another flip effect monster with the effect. Target 1 spell in your graveyard and add that target to your hand. This card used to be banned for some years, but then they brought it back recently. But still, a number of the spell cards that they used to use for it are still banned. Looking at you, Metamorphosis, Pot of Greed. What does Pot of Greed do? Draw 2 cards. Yes! Anyway, for the player S deck, we have Back to the Front. This trap card has the effect. Target 1 monster in your graveyard, special summon it in defense position. Next we have another Menadium Fearless, but since we already read the description of that, we're moving on from the other one. Next we have Galaxy Cyclone. This spell card has the effect, target one set spell trap on the field, destroy it. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one face-up spell trap on the field, destroy it. You can only use this effect of Galaxy Cyclone once per turn. Next we have a very, very popular card, I guess. Supply Squad. This is a continuous spell card with the effect, once per turn if a monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, draw one card. Next we have Phantom King Hydride. Phantom King Hydride. This monster has the effect, if you use this card you control as synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. It does have a tuner effect, so yeah. In any case, we have the trap card. Next up, the trap card Liberty at Last. This card has the effect, when a monster you control is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, target two face-up monsters on the field, shuffle those targets into the deck. Yep. Next we have White Elephant's Gift. This spell card has the effect, send one face-up non-effect monster you control to the graveyard, draw two cards. Next we have Power Frame. This is a trap card with the effect, when a face-up monster you control is targeted for an attack by a monster with higher attack, target the attack target, negate that attack, and if you do, equip this card to that target. The equipped monster gains attack equal to the difference between its attack and the attack of its attacker when this card resolves. Man, that's... Alright then. Next we have Dark Resonator. This monster has the effect, the first time this card would be destroyed by battle each turn, it is not destroyed. So it's basically like Gyroid, but with a bit better attack stats, but not very good defense stats. Anyway, next up we got Quillbolt Eagle. This monster has the effect, if this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. You must control a tuner in order to activate and to resolve this effect. Next we have Card Trooper. This monster has the effect, once per turn, you can choose a number from 1 to 3, then send that many cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. This card gains 500 attack for each card sent to the graveyard, this way until the end of this turn. If this card you control is destroyed and sent to your graveyard, draw one card. Next we have Mobius the Frost Monarch. This monster has the effect, when this card is tribute summoned, you can target up to 2 spells and traps on the field, destroy those targets. Again, it says up to, not exactly 2, so you can destroy 1 or you can destroy 2, just depends. Next up we have Mage Power. This equipped spell has the effect, the equipped monster gains 500 attack and defense for each spell or trap you control. Alright. Next we have a classic trap card in Magic Cylinder. This trap card has the effect, when an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacked monster, evade the attack, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its attack. A classic card, but I've heard some people say it's a good card, others say it's a bad card. I guess it's a mixed bag depending on who you talk to. Next up we have Mask of the Accursed. This is an equipped spell card with the effect, the equipped monster cannot attack once per turn during your standby phase. Inflict 500 damage to the controller of the equipped monster. That's fun. I'd say Magic is like... hello, how you doing tonight, by the way? Next up, we got the trap card, Kunai with Chain. An alright stall card, but that's it, really. Oh, okay, you're talking about Magic Cylinder. Okay, yeah. I'm pretty sure it was probably one of those cards where it was, like, good, if not great, even during its heyday. But nowadays, it's like, whatever. But anyway, with, wrong side. Kunai with Chain has the effect, it's a trap card with the effect, activate one or both of these effects simultaneously. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target the attacked monster, change that target to defense position, and target one face-up monster you control, equip this card to that target, it gains 500 attack. Oh, the Ever Class. Oh, let's see here. I'd say Mirror Force served that role better. Also, Kunai with Chain sucks, but based. Joy represent. Yeah, hell yeah. I feel like with Kunai with Chain, it's another card that's like classic. Not as good as it used to be, but it's still at least decent, if not meh, kind of deal. Oh yeah, speaking of another classic card, we got Dark Hole. Destroy all monsters on the field. Literally. That's literally what it does. It just says destroy all monsters on the field. Which is only good if you plan on a... Which is good if only your opponent has monsters on their field. Not so good if you only have monsters on the field. Yeah, that's how it is. Still decent if you don't have Ragneki. Yep. And the classic Mask of Darkness. This is a level 2 monster with the flip effect. It's basically like Magician of Faith, but the only difference is you can return one. You can target one trap card in your graveyard. Add that target to your hand. Yeah. So like I said, it's pretty much like Magician of Faith. Even it sucks, unfortunately, even when it was out. Yeah, it can happen. Not every card is gonna be drop dead amazing, or great, or good, or decent. Some of them are, could be better. Others are like, what the hell is this card? That's the whole point. That's the whole point of some of these cards sometimes. Dude, spells are just more easy to use, so Moth was the one to run. Magician of Faith, yeah, I agree. Also served as a light for chaos, so it's nice. Yeah, yeah, I do agree with that. It is very much easier, but at the same time with Mask of Darkness, the thing with Mask of Darkness is like with trap cards again, as we stated earlier, with trap cards, you have to set them first unless otherwise stated. Looking at you, Trap Trunks, when I say that. Because some of their cards have it to where you can actually activate it by in the hand instead of having to set it on the field. Yeah, and I do have a Trap Tricks structure deck, by the way. It's really, I find it very nice. And I'm not kidding when I say this. As I said earlier, I do have literally. So what deck is this? When you just looking through old cards. So this is from the 2-player starter set that recently came out. I was just using these decks to show off how the game is played to a degree, and I even showed off a couple of Pendulum monsters because it was talking about them, and they are very convoluted to talk about. They're very convoluted way of summoning, but I tried my best to explain how they all work, even though I feel like I may have missed a thing or two or got something wrong there, but that's to be expected with Pendulum monsters. They're terrible. Endymion intensifies. I will say, for the record, I do have other structure decks and I have done openings of them. Literally, no question, no joke. I have the Saga of Blue Eyes White Dragon. I got the Cyber Strike. I got Mechanized Madness. Let me see here. I could pretty much tell which deck is which based on which ones are which. I got Dragon's Collide, Spirit Charmers, Alba's Strike, the recent Fire Kings, which came out last December, Beware of Trap Tricks, Mechanized Madness, Cyber Strike, Freezing Chains. Yeah, like I said, Saga Blue Eyes, Cyber Strike, Dark World, the Crimson King, and I even have the 3 decks that were involved in the Yugi's World 2 box set, which included structure decks involving Yugi, Kaiba, and Joey. I have literally 18 fucking structure decks. Not all of them, but I do have a good number of them. Yeah, 18 of them. Mechanized Madness is cool, Citadel, Pod. So like all the structures. Maybe like most of the recent ones, but not all of them. I don't have any of the old school ones, and no, I'm not going to go after them because I'm pretty sure they're going to be a crap ton of money. And I got that kind of money right now, so yeah. But yeah. You know what's really funny here? I will say this much. Because I have so many decks, I actually have been thinking about doing something here. I'm glad that Konami is making. Well, he looks like he's finishing up his sort of viable structures, especially you bought three. I bought. Dude, no, dude, they were all in the same set. Those three, the Yugi, Kaiba, and Joey, they were all together. But all the rest of them, I also have one self-made deck, and it was based completely on the Volcanic Overload uh, booster box that I did an opening on, and I would love to do that again, like do a booster box opening. But speaking of that, I do want to say real quick, um, on top of doing this, I also do want to say, because I have so many structure decks, I am thinking of doing something that is, let's say, is akin to something like how sports have their own seasons, like football, baseball, basketball, how they all have their own seasons. I'm thinking about doing that with these decks. Okay, all 18 decks. Do a structure guide 1v1. You actually kind of read my mind. Because here's what's going to happen. I have 18 structure decks, so I have to basically do 9 structure deck matches in in 1 week. So what we're doing here is where I'm doing like a season kind of deal with them. And I'm in the process of creating that season. I did have to wait to get a 2-player play mat, so that way I could definitely do it for sure. I am currently gonna have to get a overhead camera set up for this thing because I'm currently using a camera stand, as if that wasn't, I don't know, obvious. In case it wasn't any obvious right here, I am using a my camera stand for this, which is not the best setup, but it works right now because I mean, you still were able to see most, if not all, of the field right here on this side. It was not off. It was completely off center, but at least you could still see it, and that's all that mattered to me completely. But anyway, here's the gist of it. When it works, it works. Exactly. So the gist of this is where I am basically using all these structure decks, including these two. Yes, I am. I am not gonna discriminate just because these two are part of a starter set that is kind of good, kind of bad, in the middle. Really, I'm still gonna use these decks because I am not putting them to waste. No, I'm gonna be using these two in that season as well. Funny part is, I actually had to come up with a nickname for these two decks and the three for Yugi, Kaiba, and Joey. So here's the deal. I pretty much just use these two decks as player X player, Y player. I always wanted to come up with some sort of names like where this one would be X play as a reference to that one show that was on G4 back in the day. I couldn't think of something for S player though, so I just said X player, S player. But for Joey, Yugi, and Kaiba, I pretty much had a good one for them. For the Kaiba structure deck that I have, I named it Kingdom of Blue Eyes because it does mainly involve the Blue Eyes structure deck. For Yugi's deck, you know I had to name it the King of Games. Come on. Yeah, you knew I had to do that. But for Joey, I want to see if anybody gets this reference. For Joey, I named his deck The Godfather of Games. If you do not get the reference, somehow, unless you're a young player, unless you're a young person, or you just never heard of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or never played it before, or you watched the anime but never this one particular movie, if you don't understand the reference, watch 2004's Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie. You will get it then. Because that's where that reference comes from. Because I love that movie. I even love that movie, but sadly, I wasn't able to, I wasn't able to watch it in the movie theater, which kind of sucked. Um, Dark Side of Dimensions, is that right? I need to see that movie. I need to see it. And then you had Battles Beyond Time, but I don't know very many things about that one. But yeah, I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie in theaters, so I didn't get any of the big cards there. But I do remember getting Pyramid of Light, when it came out on DVD. And Pyramid of Light, I don't know if I would call it a good card or not. I think it's terrible. But in any case, yeah, so that was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels here. Oh yeah, by the way, when it comes to the seasons that I'm doing, how I'm doing it is I'm gonna be doing a certain set number of weeks for this season, and then once we get to the end of the season, I will be doing a tournament where it's like the number one ranked and the number fourth ranked. Well, technically it'd be this, and then the number two ranked and number three ranked going up against each other. So it'll be number one and number four, and number two versus number three, because they kind of do that with Super Bowl, I think. Or something. They do it with somewhere, but whatever. In any event, you got that, and then whoever won those two matches there would go on to face each other for the finale. And then whichever got the final place, we do a booster box opening based on that, and that would be doing a what's the word I'm looking for? A poll, a community poll on which booster box I would get for that particular deck. And I actually do have most if not all the play. I have most of the play mats. Well, actually, I got all the play mats for all the structure decks that came with the play mat. Yes, I do have all the paper ones, and no, I am not going to get rid of them because they do have the structure decks on the booster what's the word I'm looking for? The booster the expansion packs that would suit those structure decks better alongside, to make it more powerful. And then of course, if I'm done with that, then we just give it off to whatever cards are left over, we give to the other decks if I feel like they would be good for those cards, for those decks. But not all of them. I expect that to happen. But in any case, that is going to do it for me here tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this little tutorial. It wasn't exactly informal too much because there were some things that I didn't really talk about in this. But in you guys have any questions, do not be afraid to ask them in the comments. And if you're going to ask me questions in the comments, make sure it's relevant to what was discussed in this video. That's all I ask. Okay. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and until next time, ladies and gentlemen, this is Forrest Walpole, signing off.